Now, you may be asking yourself, Remy, why are you in a dark alleyway walking alone? Well, there's three possible reasons for that. One, I like breaking shit. Two, you know, I don't like stealing. I love it. And three, I'm looking for a game. One thing you must know about me, when I play for keeps. And lucky number 4, which is probably the most true, the riders of this have no damn clue what they're doing. But let's forget that one for now.
Didn't think I'd find you, huh? Find me without your toys?
Well, I can kick your ass without my toys. But the real question is, can you kick my ass without yours? I think not. So why don't you put those claws away? Let's find out. Well, that was sneaky, but I like the way you play. Let's have some fun.
What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. I want to thank all of you for stopping by, liking, commenting, sharing, all that beautiful YouTube stuff. I hope that today is the day that we earn that subscription here at Tully Television, and I hope that we can entertain you. The path to 300 subscribers still continues, and I hope that today is the day that you help us to that, as we'll be giving away some comic books there, and maybe do a watch along to 300. I'd have to get a copy on DVD in the next few weeks because they don't really have it on streaming. I have to check. I always seem to find it when it's only for rent or buying or something. But today we're going to be getting into Dark Xmen number 3 in the Fall of X story. Written by Steve Fox. Artist is Jonas Scarf. Frank Martin is the colorist, and for this particular cover is Scotty Young and Dan Panosian. And I have to say this is one of my more favorite covers out of not only this series, but the Fall of X stories that I've been collecting. It starts off a little bit with M-Plate here and explaining how he had a mysterious, like a dark past, and part of his powers is he has to siphon energy off of mutants in order to survive. And in the past, he never really had a problem going full force on these mutants and just taking their life. But with the age of Krakoa going on, he seeks asylum. Krakoa, the island itself, is a mutant island, but also needs psionic energy to feed and to sustain itself. What part of the plan was for certain mutants or mutants to be allowed to feed Krakoa without feeling like they're going to die or anything like that. So instead of getting energy from one mutant, he would get energy, say, from 10 mutants. And so he only needs a little piece for each one. That's like if you need $100 and you get 10 people to give you $10, you got $100 right there. So think of it like that. But that didn't mean his sisters Monet and Penance got reconnected to him, and then it seems Azazel and M-Plate have a history together, but they still, again, don't really get into why M-Plate is following Azazel around like a little biatch, okay? Here we see Angel again going after the rest of the Morlocks, where our Dark Xmen are trying to prevent that. Even M-Plate is trying to help, even though by helping, he's helping himself, you know. And then finally, kind of the tipping point to this whole battle is that this Morlock comes out to try to see if everything's okay and winds up getting spiked through the neck by Archangel. And what Gambit has, this is the cover. After this, it's official. You'll see here in the next. But what we get here is the other half of our Dark Xmen, Havoc, Fent, Madeline, and this Zero, I think, Cyborg Wolverine head. They're trying to get to a mutant in Mexico to help them and for them to help them and for them to help her. And her powers are to control vegetation and that type of stuff. And so being that she has that type of power, once they start going near her property, she releases these spores that make everyone pass up or faint here. Kind of adapted. I don't want to say she's got adapting powers. I don't know too much about her history. But it seems like she was able to manifest this gas mask in time to prevent from passing out. And really what it does is it shows people's like worst memories or whatever like that, or their greatest fears. Like even here we see, and Madeline says that because she was able to confront her stuff, even though she still feels the pain from these images here, being a clone of Jean Grey and working with Mr. Sinister and then trying to take over the world through the Infernos and everything, she really has learned to live with these problems instead of letting the problems continue to control her. But it leaves Faint only open enough to, like, she remains up, and then the woman her name is Marisol, right, and the nickname is Flourish. Flourish allows her to enter the property. Now we finally get to probably one of the more crazy parts of Fall of X so far. Gambit has a plan, and he wants Azazel to drop him above Archangel here. And then, in order to stop Archangel from attacking and everything, he pretty much puts a charged bow staff through his neck. And that's it. Archangel's done. There may be, and with Archangel's healing factor, he may be able to heal from this, but will he shake the effects of the Madeline Pryor Goblin Queen that Orcus seems to have on their side that's still hidden? Here we see everyone calming down and trying to... this guy seems to still be alive. I guess his protection seems to really be part of what saved him. And Gambit opens up the door for Callisto to come to the tower that's in New York City to be protected, the Limbo Embassy. And Callisto had mentioned she didn't think Gambit would be believing in dreams still, but he's like, there's so many limited amount of us, and a lot of these mutants that were able to stay on Earth don't know where Exodus and the rest of the mutants are. So it's such a thin ranking of numbers that whoever's left is doing their own missions, you know what I mean? Like Katie Pryde is doing her own mission. Nightcrawler is doing his thing as Spider-Man. There's Magic and Typhoid Mary in one of the 9 realms. So there's really a lot. Emma Frost is married to Tony Stark. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I personally think that when it comes to times like that, you need to really have something to believe in, because then what is it all for? You know what I mean? Finally, Faith is talking to herself about, you know, what's been happening, basically following the leads here, like Shadow showing her where to go and everything. And basically, they're confronted. She finally confronts Marisol and explains, like, hey, why don't we try to help each other and everything, and really try to do what we can do for mutant kind together. On the outside of that, we see everyone waking back up, and the Nightcrawler Bamf creature that the Goblin Queen has starts attacking our Xmen out there, as Faint is trying to convince Marisol to, go with them. And in the meantime, we see Havoc going full force with his powers. He notices that he has some markings on his arm, and he's not sure where they're coming from. Madeline tells him to forget about it. But at the same time, here we are. The Bamf creature finally hones in on, I guess, Marisol and them and Faint, and tries to go after them. And that kind of... And Faint here gives it basically a big old Superman punch. And someone says, see, I knew you had that strength in you. But basically what this leads to is that Marisol refuses to join them because she said, maybe Orcus will come, like you said, for me one day, but they didn't come for me yet, and no one attacked us up until now when you came here. So you kind of led them to us now, where if you would have just left me alone, maybe they would have taken a super long time to discover us. So basically, the rest of the Morlocks, via Callisto, denies the invitation to go to Limbo, and so does Marisol and her people. And at the end of the issue, we see Chasm, a.k.a. Ben Reilly, the clone of Peter Parker, waiting in his little holding cell, determining life, if you will. And he'll come into play a little bit next issue when I review that. He hasn't played too much of a part in this. He'll play a little part in it tomorrow, in the next issue. And issue 5 is where I feel where he's going to probably choose his path one way or the other. Is he going to help the Dark X-Men, Madeline and her X-Men? Is he going to help the Goblin Queen from the different world? Or is he going to fight everyone and beat everyone and then just go on his own way and start a new chapter in his life? I'm a big fan of Ben Reilly from back in the day. I know the Clone Saga wasn't a big hit with comic book readers, and for me, I wasn't a big fan of how it ended either. But I do like the character Ben Reilly, and I think they should have kept it at the time. But what can you do? There's always retcons and reboots and all this stuff anyway. You can't get too wrapped up in it. You can only pick and choose what you like and what you don't like, and just share your opinion with other people. Like here at Tully Television, you let us know down below if you like Dark X-Men or not, if you think that this has been a good series so far. If not, let me know. Is there other series in the Full Effect storyline that I should have been concentrating on besides Dark X-Men and the Uncanny Spider-Man? I tried doing the first issue of Iceman, and it didn't really intrigue me enough to really want to follow it. And there's just so many titles to follow, though, during this Full of X story. There's a Jean Grey story, a Realm of X story. Yeah, so there's a lot going on. But that's all I got to say for now, guys. I babbled long enough. So I will see you when I see you. And until then, peace, Snookums.